Welcome everyone to another RGL cast. My name is Jared. I'm here with Uni to bring you guys Witness Gaming versus MyAnimeList Black. This is RGL Invite 6's Season 7, Week 6A, and we got a really interesting one here for you guys on Bagel. Like, only got 2 weeks left in the season. Got to figure out where all the teams are going to land. You want to get every win in every round that you can if you want to solidify yourselves as a playoff team.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Each team kind of has a Oh no,
I think you were lagging a bit, but I think you're fine now. It's just the beginning.
we good?
I think you're good.
Okay, that was weird. Anyways, both these teams kind of have a different goal in mind, like what this win will get them. For MyAnimeList, a win keeps them in the playoff race. It, maybe gets them that third spot. These, like you said, the rounds are also really important. For Witness Gaming, it's really a two-horse race for that first place spot. They beat Froyo. Froyo beat them. So we're in this weird situation where now it's just points. So, like you said, if they can get a 4 out of this, it goes a long way.
Yeah, it's much less about the wins and more about the rounds for both these teams, realistically. For the side of Witness, because they are tied with Froyotech, if they want to solidify themselves as the first seed and not the second, they need to collect as many rounds as they possibly can while also dropping none. So even if they are definitely the favorites here coming against Mal, obviously, you definitely want to have a clean victory to net yourself that seed that you desire so greatly, rather than maybe a little bit of a closer game, because who knows how close it's going to be when we're at the end of week 8 and we're looking at by how much did seed number 1 beat seed number 2 in match points. And for the side of Mal, they got the same scenario, but it's much more tricky. They actually have a wide variety of places they could actually land in this season technically, because there's still 2 weeks left to go realistically. They could just land right now. They're slated to probably get 4th, but it could go up and down depending. They are getting this 4th seed so far because so far they've had like a pretty no upset losses per se, only just the trading win versus their neighboring team of Global Clan Ice. But Global Clan Ice has a loss themselves, which nets themselves lower than Mal. So Mal, they're fine and don't drop to 5th as long as Ice doesn't maybe beat G6, or maybe Mal doesn't lose to Global Clan Fire. But if that does happen and they are tied again, then it would come down to rounds. This could be an important match for that. You look back on what better way to collect rounds and versus the team that would be really hard for other teams to collect rounds against. So with how back and forth Bagel has been, it's really anyone's game at that point when it comes to having a close game or not. And the same could be said the other way around, where Mal, they could view themselves like, all right, we got playoffs, but they could actually next week later on, I think we're actually casting this on Thursday, when they play G6, if they beat G6 and tie with them, then all of a sudden it goes to rounds again for 3rd seed instead. So it really all over the place for multiple teams. Just literally by how much do you win or lose could be what you look at later on at the end of week 8 when you're figuring out what your seed is going to be.
Yeah, just taking a quick look at the stats. MyAnimeList actually has more rounds than G6, even though they have one less win. So yeah, every single win can have an impact. But what about this matchup? What are you thinking about for this one?
Well, let's probably go into a bit of the roster, since everyone wants to know if there's ringers and stuff like that, or who knows, maybe you're a little bit late to the season and want to catch up on who is playing what. So I'll go ahead and go over the Witness Gaming roster first. It is Yite and Bransom on Scout, Laz and Ash on Soldier, Artis on Demo, and Logai on Medic.
And then on the MyAnimeList Black side, it is Alpha and Glimmer, otherwise known as Sapphrix, on the Scout. Romer's Trip, Pocket is Kev, Demo is Sai, and the Medic is Asian. Asian, however you want to pronounce that.
Mal's going to have a little bit of a tough road ahead of them for this match, going up against the former Invite champions. But anything can happen. You've seen some surprising feats happen before, and who knows, maybe it can happen again. Especially, we keep going back to saying a little bit, you never know what can happen. This is definitely the map which I think has it's definitely up there when it comes to upset potential because of how it's played. 1, it's Koth. 2, the cap time is crazy in terms of having really close rounds that can go either direction. So, when you think about Koth maps, a lot of the times you can be like, oh, we lost like a couple rounds in a row, just could never get the clock in our favor, and that was kind of it. But because it's so easy to recap on this map, you really can pinpoint it just like, oh no, we lost that one fight, otherwise we would have been able to win. because your clock is probably going to be extremely, extremely close, even if you lose.
Yeah, 100%. I think one thing you have to keep in mind with Koth maps, especially, Bagel and any map that is kind of more back and forth, is you got to be really fluid with your holds and your pushes. You got to really be willing to sell out, and at the same time, be willing to take those losses. You're not gonna hold for 3 minutes every single round, like unless you're an invite team going up against a newcomer team. It's just not gonna happen. So you really got to keep that in mind.
Yeah, no Iron Man holds compared to other Koth maps where you just like, oh, we're good enough. We win the first mid. We have everything on lockdown. We're under 60 seconds left on ours before they even capped. So definitely gonna have to play it to the best of your ability as always, but a little bit differently this time. But for the side of Witness, I think they've already kind of shown how well they've done on Bagel in the past. I mean, this is a map that they played in Grand Finals with Froyotech and was able to beat them on. So, they have definitely shown that, they got this map in the bag for the most part when it comes to just raw, like on paper matchups versus a lot of teams. But it also means that the spotlight's kind of on them. If you're in the spotlight for a set amount of time, you start to get looked at, and it comes in the question: how much was it something that was just, oh, you can't really counter that, or is it something that you can take away when it comes to trying to apply pressure and get a little bit of time? And even one little thing goes wrong, be like, oh, they always do this. Let's try to combat it this way. That could be the one victory that you talk about where you look back and that's the fight that won you the round. So it's a little bit of give and take. So they do have something to work against here. Mal obviously have kind of seen how Witness Gaming has been able to succeed as of late on this map. Not necessarily this season, but in general. So it's going to be something to think about, as well as, I guess, in general, I don't think this is really a map that's been really like spammed throughout a whole lot of the matches. I think that's something that you kind of think about when you get into later weeks. You're like, oh, how often have they actually picked this map and been able to scrim it? And I don't think it's really been a whole lot. So it's when it comes to this season practice, it's whatever you've needed to play versus the other teams, but not of anything of your own picking.
Yeah, I also apologize if my mic is acting a little weird. I don't know what's going on with that. But looking over the team's matches so far this season, neither team has played Bagel yet. This is the first Bagel match for both teams.
Yeah, so it's like I said, it's whatever practice you got on this map was either A, this week, or B, whatever other teams have needed to practice Bagel, which you've coincidentally scrimmed, which is like it's not the most reliable. It's probably little to maybe even none. So it really is just what did you iron out from what you remembered from seasons past, really, and you got to bring it into play and see where it nets you right off the beginning of the half. But think uh, I think we're just waiting on one more player from the side of Mao. They got almost I know, Size and Spectate. So it seems like everyone's here, just waiting for everyone to get ready to go. I guess we can kind of move over to predictions, because this is kind of a fast rollout. We can't really just use the roll as an excuse to pump out numbers super, super late. So let's talk about it a bit now. When you think about what is going to be happening in terms of the score, well, where does your mind lead to in terms of the numbers?
My mind kind of goes to a 4-1 in favor of Witness Gaming. Every time I play a Koth, it's always really hard for me to think that one team is going to 4-0 the other one, just with Koth being how it is, how fast those rounds can go, and how much like chance there is for a comeback. So I'll say 4-1. I feel like MyAnimeList really have that potential to just steamroll and start to be, really overwhelming with their presence. But I think Witness Gaming are overall the better team and have that ability to make those adjustments, which I don't know if MyAnimeList will be able to on the other side.
I think it's a safe bet. Even if you look at seasons past where you know, compare maybe the 1 or 2 seed versus the 4 or 5, occasionally you can find maps where the matchup is just like slated in one direction so hard that it's a complete roll. But given it's this map, and it's not too hard to be able to get some time on the clock in general, there's some decent potential for Mal to start pulling some rounds, even though they got a tall task ahead of them. So I think that's a fair like 4-1 probably to get around. Obviously, they're going to try to go the distance and go as far as they possibly can. But Witness Gaming, they probably have an idea of what they want to do for this map, because they've just played it so much in the season prior. But we're waiting for some time for everything to go live. I don't think we have to wait too much longer, but it looks like people are starting to move around. I think it's just Sly we're waiting on still, actually. But let's talk about MVPs, especially when it comes to Bagel in particular. What does your mind go to when it comes to thinking about players that are really going to pop off for each respective team?
So if I'm thinking, sixes, but especially Koth, I think a safe bet for who's going to go off is usually a scout. Uh, scout's probably the strongest class in the game, and on Koth, scout has so much maneuverability and just ability to deny and start those pushes himself. So I'd say if I had to pick one person from each team, it would probably I would say Brand Slam from Witness. But if the match breaks down and like gets a little more hectic, I would almost have to say Trip from MyAnimeList.
I think for me, when I think about, at least for the side of Witness and the games they've played past, it feels like Laz has done a lot of work, even though Koth is usually Scout Central. I would actually kind of keep an eye on Laz just because control over the houses are really important, because if you're able to take control of it just like solo, or even find it free and find that opening, you can get a flank that can completely wipe the other team just because you're completely sidelining them. Um, and he did that a lot in matches past, I think, on Bagel, especially versus like some of the matches that were in the playoff run in particular. So it's like the top 4 teams in that regard. So I kind of want to keep an eye on him personally to see if he is able to do a similar thing. Obviously, everyone's going to play a little bit differently, so you might have to kind of change up what your go-to is based on the team you're playing. Mal, I'm not really sure how they're going to deal with the control over their houses, but that's something that I'm going to keep in the back of my mind for sure. For the side of Mal, I would actually go back to the scout camp and kind of keep my eyes on Alpha, mostly because even though it doesn't necessarily have as much to do with the house control per se, but Alpha is usually like the star player when it comes to playmaking. And when I feel like like if you think about rounds that would be taken by Mao over Witness, you'd probably feel like it'd be like a sick play that would be happening that would surprise Witness rather than like a complete outplay. So I think that kind of fits Alpha's camp a little bit more about going huge. Maybe not necessarily with off classes, but just like finding a right timing to just unleash the scout class across the point and collect a couple kills for his team.
Well, speaking of off-classing, I was just thinking, looking at some of these players, a few of them are kind of known for their off-classing. Do you think that's something we're going to see a lot of, or not so much?
Probably not a lot of. I mean, the sniper sight lines on this map aren't super like. There's some decent ones, but realistically, the amount that you can see because of so much is blocked. It's not really. So far, teams haven't decided that it's warranted to actually go like sniper or anything like that. Um, you could maybe see some like weird niche, like a heavy when there's 20 seconds left, or like let's get a spy because we're about to sack, so he'll be in position for the sack wave and stuff like that. But that's not really a go-to. That's like a surprise in itself that you even see the attempt happening in the first place. But besides that, I would be actually kind of surprised if we saw any off classes at all. It would be more like a gimmick play than anything. I mean, maybe if you're down and out and you like need something to set yourself apart and start collecting some rounds on the board, you could go for some sort of desperation play just to see if the change of pace surprises the other team and gets something to work. But especially in the beginning, like the first half, I actually expect none at all, realistically.
Yeah, that's fair. And like I said, or like I was mentioning, that breakdown, that usually doesn't tend to happen until later in the game, even if there's kind of a mismatch happening. So
Yeah, I think it probably, if someone was off classing, I'd probably put my money on Alpha just because we've seen him off class. I think the most out of anyone in the server, and they are more likely to be in a situation where they need to try to get something together because their initial plan A, or maybe even their plan B, isn't finding the success that they wanted. So I guess only time will tell, but that would definitely, I feel like it's definitely more of a second half thing, like I said before, but I guess we'll see. But good news is we've received the countdown, so we got less than 60 seconds before we go live, so that's always nice to see. So gonna be able to get that going. Any final thoughts before you hop into the game between these two teams?
go Artist. I'm a fan.
That's
That's
true.
all
I'm
I got.
interested. I'm interested to see how well Artist does because a lot of his past performances, they've been good, but I think they've been especially great because there was so much house control. And when you have house control, you can just be on the point as a demo much safer because you're not worried about getting blindsided from either your left or right half. So you feel a little bit more of a safety net to go aggressive. So I'm curious to see if he's going to be able to do the same thing if the house isn't under his control, but who knows, maybe we'll see a carbon copy of matches past. But we are going live between Witness and Mal. Curious to see how we're going to start this. Actually, I think the mids are usually pretty slow paced between a lot of the teams, but who knows, eventually you might see a mid where they begin to run on each other, but only time will tell. Spam goes across. So far it's slow, just taking up the positions on either of the houses, and it's actually Mal that's playing really far back. I think they kind of expected Witness Gaming to just pull the trigger and go on right back, but not really seeing that in Witness. They're actually starting to poke the point, but you can't actually start capping yet. Just a spam war. We have Kev taking control of the left side house as well as the side of Ash controlling his respective house as well. Cap unlocked. Bomb coming in from Trip, trying to bomb into the house to create some space, but will not find anyone. It's actually Mal that's getting a lot of damage on the artist right there. Beside, popped in the air, dropped to 16 HP. Will eventually eat the arrow and live, maybe. Yeah, will survive for now, but so far this mid, a little bit uneventful, but this damage is there for both teams trying to put themselves on the point. The side of Witness, a lot of damage on the side of Mal. Trip dropped to 9 HP, has to go back for a pack, and the positioning is going back and forth for both teams right now, but Bransam, first one to fall. Dropped low is Glimmer, who will survive that encounter, and Mal starting to lead the charge, getting on top of the point. Bransam falling as well. Sai and Alpha are dropped so low, the Uber will come out, trying to get some damage on the Artist, but Log, he's out of there, preserving his Uber, and Artist, it seems like he's going to be the lone person to fall, maybe, question mark? Will finally die as Mal are starting to retreat. Sai caught and will die for that. Oversending a bit for that demo kill, but first cap going Mal's way.
Yeah, and they're just going to come right back in. Hopefully try not to use the super. They're got a scout and a demo pick, so it seems like as long as they can stop that soldier, yeah, there goes Trip. And Kev is, I didn't get to say earlier, Kev is on the battalion, so it feels like he might be playing a little bit more spam heavy passive, and Witness Gaming are just going to retake the point with a 60% Uber ad.
I think it's the first banner that I've ever seen on this map, like throughout its history in the pool. So that's gonna be interesting to see. But yeah, full Uber ad for the side of Witness. They still are holding on to this. So Mal, they just gotta find a way to either poke the point and make them use just to block it, which might even happen honestly, given the way that Witness has played this before, or just go for a straight up sack with a Trip. He's seen the opportunity, landing on Log in the corner, will finally pop, and the Alpha sack coming in to reassure it, and the rest of Mal getting out of there. Kev getting chased, his banner is under threat, and Glimmer will take the rocket to allow Kev to stay alive. So has to be careful, spam coming his way, but Azen has full Uber now, and with getting Glimmer up, and now they're in a spot to try to bust through this forward hole the Witness is set up and trying to take back the point for themselves.
Yeah, I think Kev might have the banner because he has not died, so this is like an Uber at this point almost, and a Trip immediately dies to the Trip, not the start you want.
Oh, a lot of damage from the side of the red team. So many weak players. 3 of them at red HP. The bomb from Laz will force Uber trying to chase forward and getting some damage on the log up, and not quite enough to collect the kill. They are able to get Artist though, which is something that they can work off of, but the point will go in favor of Mal.
Yeah, they get the point, but 70% disat, that's going to come back to bite you real quick. Kev down.
Uber coming in. Oh, might have to use it? No, not enough damage on the log. He's actually out of there. Kev bombing in. Oh, penciled up into the air, but not enough damage to actually clean up the kill. The 3-man will only find Laz. So valiant effort, but looks like the Witness Game is going to retake this pretty easily. Respawners coming in away from Mal.
Sorry, just seeing what I can do with my mic.
Witness Gaming, they're in a position where they can hold on to this. They have some sort of a pseudo forward hold coming up. Laz is rolling out, so down one spamming class here to prevent them from kind of holding on to this with an Iron Man hold. But he's not too far away from his Uber. Is at 90%, so 10% difference, and it looks like they're going to get it as they're walking through this left-hand side. The rest of Witness Gaming backing up. They realize they have to get out of here and back to their own positioning behind the point. A lot of damage onto Glimmer, so it's going to be difficult for them to continue holding this. But actually finding a pick on Ash, Trip trading his life in the beginning of Mal's retake is starting. They're actually retaking the point completely. The Uber will come out from the side of Bransam, rushing in, getting some damage on the side, forcing the flashes all over the place. Bransam getting a little bit caught and blown into the air by the side of Glimmer. That is a scout down. Glimmer collecting that kill. 5v5 scenario, spam coming through. Trip, or actually that's Kev. Kev with the flank. Oh, a couple missed rockets. The last one will land on an Artist, but he will give up his life for that. But I'm sure he's okay with collecting that demo kill. But Glimmer is going to die, trading spam all across the way, and immediately bomb in from the soldiers, sailing out for the side of A's, and will collect that kill. And Laz will die for it. But Ash barely escaping, almost. 26 HP getting chased, will finally fall. And Alpha going to give up his life for it, though. There's just so much carnage happening here. Low guys dies to a flank from Sai, with the down man just flanking, and he's going to collect that kill. What's happening?
There was a lot happening in that span of like 15 seconds.
There's too much to watch. Oh, and Trip.
Nope, immediately caught. Yeah. Great play by the soldiers on Witness Gaming to take down AZN. I don't even know what Psy did, but great play by him to take
It
down.
is flanked from the house, I guess.
And Glimmer's dead again. I feel like he's kind of dying early in these fights, but it is just one player. Times are about even Ubers. But look at this aggressive enough. Witness Gaming, Psy's really low.
Oh, and he gets that kill and lives somehow. Oh, and Lad eats an arrow to survive as well. So gonna be one scout down, but in the other direction this time. And oh, Alpha, I think he went for a flank, but not quite in time with his team. I guess he saw an opening, so it's gonna be 5 for 5 at least for now. Trying to get onto the point, tiptoeing it just a little bit. Flank coming in from the soldiers over on the left side of the house for the side of blue team, killing Trip. So it's gonna be rough for the side of Mal to continue fighting this fight. Another soldier flank happening in the other house. Kev trying to escape plan away and live just barely, but will get cleaned up by the side of Laz. He's gonna go ahead and get Pax, and the Uber will come out, keeping Psy alive, trying to chase down Lolguy. Gonna be able to get that force. Glimmer falling for it though. So no scout for the side of Mal. Is actually Alpha's dying as well. So no scouts. They have to get out of here. Psy's kind of poking and prodding a little bit, but it's gonna be an easy retake for the side of Witness Gaming.
Yeah, and Lad's actually at the end of that dies to fall damage. That's huge. That's going to be a 6v5 for the next 10-15 seconds. With even Ubers, neither team has. So if I'm Mal, I'm looking to push right now, punishing them being down.
Yep, they're trying to poke forward. A lot of cap time are going to convert it, but I don't think Witness Gaming cares as much because they've collected a kill of their own. Trying to push forward and retake this. Only 9 seconds left on the clock for them, so Mal has work cut out for them here. Definitely have to retake this as fast as possible. Trip gonna fall. Kev jump away, not in position to bomb yet, has to eat a pack, and with no overtime, Alpha trying to get there in time, barely able to get a couple kills, but not quite enough bodies on the point in time to make sure that this round is collected in their favor. And Witness Gaming lead up 1-0.
Yeah, it was, it kind of got hectic, especially towards the end, but Witness Gaming did a good job of keeping control of that point, not getting flustered, and using their scouts to really great effect.
Gonna have to see what the next mid has in store for us. Spam actually reaching Mal a little bit to damage them, but A-OK in the health department, just one sticky hit. A little bit of spam on an Aizen, spam going cross back and forth. As always, no triggers pulled when it comes to soldier bombs, just taking control of each house. They actually have Trip playing relatively passive, so we just kind of making sure that he can't get soloed inside the house. A Witness Gaming starting to keep up their aggression, getting on top of the point. Alpha shoving in the house, blowing back the side of Ash, but the Trip, lack of presence there. He was kind of there to block it, but not quite enough. So going to be a lot of damage for the side of each team. One scout going down. Artist falling though, and Psy. So there's trading bodies, getting a little bit of damage, going forward to collect that kill, but also giving up your own life for it. So 4v4 for now. Trying to retake this point, but the clock is still in favor of the side of Witness as they continue to stand on top of the point and block it, so the side of Mal cannot collect this cap. Glimmer is barely trying to tiptoe, but Bransam showing himself as well. Scout duel coming in for the side, but the soldiers on the left are making sure that Glimmer has to back up. And so far, despite all the carnage, Witness Gaming still coming up on top throughout this scuffle.
Yeah, Witness Gaming and immediate pick on Alpha. They do use in, so it's a little bit of a worse Uber for them, but all these flashes and kills are coming. All of a sudden, Mal only have 3 players alive, and Glim was not long for this world as well. So Psy and AZN are going to have to bail out of there.
Oh, and Psy might even die. Just barely 2 scouts. Yeah, they're really aggressive here inside the other team's lobby. So it's going to be a late demo death they have to work against. That's actually enough time to make sure that Witness Gaming can be all healthy. Gives extra room for Laz to go ahead and roll out for their little forward hold they have on the right-hand side of the map. So it's going to be a little bit tough for Mal, but I think they found an opening. They realize this left-hand side is a bit easier to go through. We're going to have Trip bombing through. The timing's a little bit off, though, but is going to survive. But Glimmer will not have the same fate. Going to be down a scout here. Continue to create more space. The rest of Witness Gaming are going to respect it despite having the pick advantage. Backing up just a little bit. They know it's going to be a long while before Glimmer is there. Don't have to play too crazy. Oh, nice headshot rocket onto Kev, but oh, the Uber coming in. Mal saw this happening and made sure they were passive enough. This Uber is not going to catch barely anything. They're able to get Kev, so no banner. They're going to be reset, and the arrow on it isn't going to make him a little bit unhealthy. Dodging the pack. He doesn't even call the health pack. They're ready to use this Uber if they need to, but the flank from Yai. He's found the opening. The Uber will come out, immediately dropping too, but I mean, you're going to be okay with that from the side of Witness if you're just going for a sack play. So took a little bit, was a little bit long and misconstrued, but for the side of Mal, will finally have the clock start burning down in their favor.
Yeah, but that's way too long. If I'm Witness Gaming, I'm loving the situation I'm in. 20% Uber ad. You got like a minute 45 ad on the point. You're in the driver's seat right now.
Yeah, Dry coming in for the side of Witness. They bust through this door, but the Trip, he's found the flank, tying up Yite at least a little bit. Flank coming in from the side of one of the soldiers to make sure this Trip kill is collected. The air is kind of preventing things from happening as quickly as I initially expected, but he will finally fall. So one player advantage from the side of Witness, and they have this small Uber out to work with a lot of damage on the Glimmer and Kev, but Bransam is going to fall there, and Kev barely gets out. He still is on the banner after all this time. Glimmer going to get picked up by the side of Yai. This Uber has not been used quite yet despite this advantage. I don't think they've found the correct opportunity to use it, but they've gotten a lot of cap time, so they're just playing the slow game a little bit, and they will finally get this cap. Uber, I guess not necessarily needed. The flank from Laz, though, making sure the kill on Sai is collected. Aizen surfing back, able to get the pack. Yep, Laz not going to be successful in getting that force, but with no demo, that's going to be a little bit rough for the side of Mal in the short-term future.
Yeah, there's just constant deaths on both sides, but it almost feels like the Mal ones are a lot more impactful. Although, as I say that, Yite goes down, so 5v5. Here comes the Uber, and as you know, AZN had used in that.
So much damage.
Yeah, they'll get Glimmer, but nothing else, so that's fine, basically. An Uber trade, they lose the point, they're going to be able to refight right away.
Yeah, clock's still in their favor after all said and done. I mean, it's pretty much even, so it's going to be a dry, but if they can get another quick pick onto the Mal players, so much damage on the Sai as well. This is the timing's a bit off for the side of Mal, but they are showing themselves here on the point. No Demo Man spam quite yet, but they are still having a presence, but that's just meaning Glimmer immediately melted. They got really aggressive on the point. I think Witness recognized that Sai was nowhere near, so they just ran forward and collected that kill. So yep, Sai and the side of Trip in, but the medic's not necessarily. I think there's a bit of a mistiming here from the side of Mal in terms of who is in and who is out, and it's just making it so easy for the side of Witness to hold on to the point. Only 5 seconds left, and there's no overtime, so Mal have to get on the point to get something going from. They're able to kill Ash, and Trip is bringing some people back. They're getting on top of the point. It's forcing Witness Gaming to kind of play into the corner. They do this Uber if they do feel like they need it immediately. Coming in for the side of, actually, Sai going super deep, flaying all the way around. Demoman behind, Artist drop really low, barely gonna eat a flash to live, and Sai is gonna give up his life for that, so bit unfortunate for the side of Mal. They have to hold on to this for a minute and a half. They do have a lot of players down, and Lazarus respawning soon, so playing advantage for the side of Witness, able to make sure that Glimmer is cleaned up inside of the house. Kev trying to make sure that Yai is cleaned up as well, but will give up his life for it, and with a two-man player advantage, Witness Gaming, they're able to clean up that second round, leading 2-0 into the half.
Yeah, Mal are keeping up the pressure, but Witness Gaming are just reacting to it really well.
It's really rough. It feels like the timing is a little bit off for the side of Mal. You can look and see there's a couple of people that are poking and prodding on the point, but at the same time, you kind of look and see there's like people that are in lobby that aren't committing yet that you'd think that would be like a medic or a demo that's not, on the same page. So might be a comm issue, but either way, Witness Gaming, whatever is being thrown in front of them, they are tackling it head on. And there's been a couple of rough situations where Mal's been able to get a foothold, but I mean, I think that's to be expected from the side of Witness, realistically, given their history on Bagel. They're definitely willing to give up the point for the long-term benefits of maintaining an Uber or just keeping certain players alive. So take a little bit of a look at the stats here to see what we have in store for us. And Uni, when you initially look at this, what really catches your eye here?
In the nicest way possible, scout difference.
I would definitely agree. Even though there's room for soldiers and demos to go ham, it's still cost. You still want your scouts to perform really well. So the fact that your scouts are not having a very happy time for the side of Mal is definitely something that you might want to address in the halftime. If your scouts aren't doing well, then it can be really, really rough to actually collect the kills, which probably can attribute a little bit to the kill difference we have on the board here.
Yeah, Sai actually 10-6, 472 DPM. Sai's putting up the crazy numbers, although he's taking a large amount of heals. He's taking up 30%, which could be taking away from those scouts who are having a rough time. And then it's a little more quiet, but when you look at the stats, Ash and Laz are up there in damage too, especially Ash. 380 DPM on Soldier, only 5 kills, but that impact is definitely being felt.
I feel like Laz definitely has the biggest gap between how much damage he's doing rather than how much heals he's actually taking, which is doing wonders for their damage department, realistically. If you kind of do the math just like very quick, the fact that you can have someone output the same amount of damage as a whole lot of your teammates, sure, he dies for it, but that'll definitely be burst in really important classes, and it was making sure that a fight is secured. But he's also not necessarily taking up the heal so the rest of the team can actually survive through it. I think is providing wonders for him. We've seen a lot where they'll win a fight and the only person that died was Laz. And because they're able to run forward and collect a lot of really late kills, it's giving time for Laz to go ahead and roll out, to be there in time for some of the little forward holds that they're trying to do on the other half of the map. So far it seems like their strategy is working out really well, and it's compounding with the issues that Mal is having keeping all their players on the same page when they're trying to figure out when are they actually taking the fights.
Yeah, and just looking at how some of the fights develop and then devolve when obviously, they break down, it really feels like the players on Witness Gaming either have very defined roles or understand what their team needs them to do. Like you said, they're winning these fights with Laz dying. They still win the fight. Yite and Brand Slam keeping that high ground, not a crazy amount of deaths, 6 and 4 respectively. It really feels more structured from Witness Gaming. Even when there is that breakdown, it doesn't feel like there's a breakdown of structure or plan.
And one thing that it does lead to actually that's it's interesting to think about. If you look at the medic deaths, usually if you think about a 2-0, you don't see a medic that has one death and another one that has two. Like you would think initially just looking at the stats and not actually watching the game, you'd be like, whoa, both these medics played phenomenally. Every time someone got them, they lived through it. Wow, that's crazy. But realistically, I feel like because of the things that Witness is going up against and the things that Mal is bringing to the table, just combined the overall the match, a lot of fights are kind of ending before they even begin, it feels
Mhm.
like. Not all of them, but enough to where you don't even need, like, your medic to put their life on the line because someone else is accidentally dying before things really kick off, and the medic would never even need to begin to commit to a real fight, to put his life on the line in the first place. So, I feel like that's an interesting byproduct of the way that the match is kinda turning out, where both these medics kinda just get pretty looking stats.
Yeah, and there's a really interesting stat that I actually want to kind of highlight: the assists of each medic. Logai has 7, AZN has 1. Now, assists don't necessarily mean one medic's playing better than the other, but it really tells me, like I was mentioning, that structure, just the players on Witness Gaming are playing around their medic more as opposed to Mal players maybe going around and doing things on their own away from their medic.
And that means, a large, maybe not all, because I mean you can snipe kills from like a medic getting the assist. Like it can be two combat class getting the assist, but you got 30 kills that round for the side of Mal, and only one of them is a medic assist. That means a large majority, probably like 90+% of the kills were generated were not from you running across the point beamed like with like a team. It's either just soldiers giving up their lives to kill one player or like some sort of house flank. So it definitely seems like Witness Gaming are 100% having the point on lock. So that's one of the three avenues that they have completely shut down. So there's two remaining ones from the side of Mal they have to really work with, which is I guess the house. So either I guess when it comes to halftime and trying to figure out what you want to adjust, I guess that's a big question. Do you just say screw it and play to your strengths? Do you keep playing really heavily on the house and maybe just like flood some people in there, get some kills, and try to work off a numbers advantage because that's the only way you're getting kills so far this match? Or do you feel comfortable enough that you're going to try to remedy the weaknesses that have been displayed thus far and try to make little tweaks and changes to your gameplay to actually allow yourselves to find a way to get kills across the point as you're barreling across it? So,
I
guess
think
the
you
only time
kind
will
of,
tell.
yeah, if it was, if I'm making the decision for my team, you kind of got to do stuff that you're uncomfortable with at this point. Uh, Witness Gaming are doing such a good job, like you said, of controlling that point and having these fights on the flank. Having Kev play that really spam heavy banner soldier isn't working. You need to change things up.
Yeah,
And
he actually hasn't gotten a banner once. I will say though that
yeah,
he's on the battalions, which a lot of people view as the better of all the banners, just because like you can't use the other banners if you die, right? You just explode as sticky traps or
mhm.
spam or whatever. So this like will make sure that you get the most use out of a banner that you possibly can. There's something to be said though that I think the build rate of the battalions is the same as the buff banner,
I
but
believe
the
so.
the, the conch is 120 damage less. I think it's like what is it 600 and 480 with the conch being 480. So if he's really sold on this banner idea, I would be surprised if he doesn't switch to the easier one to build, so he can actually like get one off. Because so far it's not really leading to anything. They haven't been able to use it.
Yeah, and again, if they're gonna try to, attack angles more as a team as opposed to just having one or two people on each area, uh, banners can be really helpful with that. And one thing about the conch, obviously it heals, but you move faster too.
True.
And
And that
that
can
can
be a whole lot for catching medics, which is, extremely important for Koth. You toe the line between, do I get close as a medic and make sure I can heal my team, or is that going to net me into an early grave? But it makes it even more difficult if a banner's in play, because the speed is, you can actually, one thing you take into account is, oh, well, at least, like, if we're both scouts sped up, then they can't catch up because we're moving at the same rate, but the banner just eliminates that. So now you have to be even further back, so it's another safety net if you can get that off for making sure that you can get the kills you want to actually get.
Yeah, and like you said, it is a safety net. The banner is not going to win you, or it's not going to be the sole reason you win or lose a game. You really need to, adjust what you're doing overall. The banner can just be part of that strategy.
I feel like it's a
So,
very good snowball strategy, but I
yeah.
think you have to be successful to a certain extent to pull it off. But so far, Mao's success just hasn't reached that threshold. I think Kev has found himself in a lot of situations where he's probably like built it halfway up, and then he feels like he has to go in because things have like gone the way they have. That, oh, if I don't do something right now, then I'm baiting my team, and he goes and does it and will, like, do damage or maybe get a kill or something. But then the banners reset all that progress in the ground. So
Yeah, those banners are really good in 5CP when there's most of the time not really any pressure to push. I mean, obviously if you're losing and it's late in the game, there's that pressure, but when you have that freedom to just take that spam and then utilize it, it has so much more potential.
just the
So,
last hold stalemates. You switch
yeah,
off to it really quick, and then all of a sudden you just kind of pop off with a banner pushing out a last. Can always surprise people, but the
exactly.
pace is really fast. So I'm gonna keep my eye on him and see if he actually stays on it long term, because got a lot of time to talk about stuff. I think we have some people restarting or something, so it's gonna be a second before we go ahead and ready up. But I guess that means more time for both the teams to figure out what they want to change, if anything.
True. Oh, and all right. So I just took a look. Kev actually did change it. He's on gunboats. I mean, obviously it's still halftime, but if that rings true, maybe we'll see a little bit more aggression, or like, I don't know, just Kev going in along with Trip as opposed to playing a little more of that spam heavy.
Yeah, I mean, I think if they can find their footing and he is like really, really keen on running it, then maybe there could be some moments where he could put on again. But I think taking it off for now is probably the safer choice, given it's one, it's Bagel, two, it's Caw, three. It's, like I said, it's a snowbally weapon, and you have to have a snowball first. They don't really have a snowball yet to work with. Gotta
Yeah,
find
you
it.
you got to start it somehow.
Well, I think we're just at this point we're just waiting. I'm not really sure how long it's gonna take for everyone to restart or whatever they're doing. So I think we chill for now. Might be a podcast moment. Hopefully it doesn't take too long, but you never really know. I'm not really sure if there's
Yeah,
too much more to talk about for halftime stuff, is there?
not that I can think of. We talked about the soldiers. We talked about. Uh, hmm. Maybe the way the scouts play. Witness Gaming scouts have been playing not super heal heavy, but very not super far away from the medic, just controlling the point, not really getting on low ground that often. Whereas I mean, I could be completely wrong about this, but it feels like whenever Mal's soldier or scouts, excuse me, die, it almost feels like they're always on low ground. Like I really felt like Glimmer would get caught pressuring the sides of the point and not necessarily up top. So maybe putting a little bit more pressure on those scouts. I mean, that's easier said than done, of course, but maybe that can be somewhere for them to start.
True. I mean, there's uh, I mean, when a scout plays on the mid, I mean, you got two avenues to really work with it. You're playing the sides or playing on top, if assuming you're ignoring the houses. So if one's not working, might have to go with the other. But both of them can be pretty rough when it comes to fighting against Dellman spam. But good news, we are going live. Everything is all ready to go for the second half. So both teams have plenty of time to talk about potential changes, if any at all. We've already seen some from Kev's swapping off of the banner. He's still off of it at the time of this match start. So gonna see another mid here starting off slow, and we'll see where it takes us.
Yeah, nothing you know, no team is going really aggressive at the moment. Laz is pressuring a little bit more on his right side over here, but nothing too crazy. Witness Gaming taking that position. As I said, that Glimmer Zone and Laz is behind, so all of a sudden they're getting collapsed on Logai. Great surf, and it's just Asian and Alpha running for their lives.
Yeah, I think they just found the Witness Gaming found the right house open. Kev got weak and then wasn't able to get re-healed and hold it, so Laz just got a free flank to get extra damage, and that's enough to make sure these kills are collected. So Witness Gaming, not only do they have this forward hold, they have it without any of their players gone, so they're completely set up to stuff all these doors. You have a bomb in from the side of Kev trying to get some damage, and the drop, the air shot into Logai. Even the surf comes in and it's not enough of the, immediately. Uber coming in from the side of Malfree. Uber trying to collect as much as they possibly can. Yai going for a flank on the side of Chip, dropped to 45 HP, but will maybe live 2 HP. Gonna get out up and live at least for now, so they've gotten a couple kills here and some damage. At the point is still in favor of Witness. They're still kind of, you know, showing themselves just a little bit, but they don't have heals to actually sustain themselves, so they will eventually all get out. Spare Laz, the cap will go in favor of Mal.
Yeah, great air shot, obviously, coming out of Kev. Unfortunate drop from Logai, but looking at the health, Kev's immediately dead, and the Uber advantage isn't really that big, so Witness Gaming are just going to immediately take this point. Alpha is kind of off on his own, 2 health.
And Laz, he's terrorizing so much damage, and that's actually going to make it really difficult for them to hold on to this because of they're just so passive along the concrete side. So they're going to take Laz, which is something for them to work with. Glimmer getting onto the point, immediately falling, just 2 rockets from the side of Ash and Artist, make sure that Trip is cleaned up as well. Alpha's trying to salvage getting onto the point, but with 2 dead, it's going to be a bit rough. They are backing up. Actually, Alpha's kind of poking and prodding at least a little bit. Might get rushed down if he's not too careful, but he will back up and escape, and they will live to fight another day. But all this time going inside of Witness Gaming's favor. Kev able to bomb in and get some damage, but immediately Alpha and Kev trying to make some space and immediately just falling, and or going back to Mal's coordination issues. They're able to get something out of Branson, which is good for them, but got to get more than that if you want to be able to retake this point.
Yeah, and Laz just going in, takes down side. Glimmer's dead too. This aggression out of Witness Gaming is insane. Great arrow to
and Ash
live, actually, yeah.
Even if Ash is going in, he just goes straight for the Market Garden. Not able to quite get a kill, so is going to give up his life. And with Laz not there either. Oh, the Uber though. They'll flank from right down the staircase into Aizen and friends. They're able to get a lot of flashes off and some damage as well. So Kev not going to be very healthy. They are beginning to escape on their own half of the point. Don't have, I guess Laz is showing up just now, able to take control of the house. A lot of damage to Kev. Ash not quite here. It's a couple more seconds of a 1-player advantage, but the health is so much more in favor from the side of Witness as they hold on to this point.
They're just keeping themselves alive really well. Like maybe one person gets low, but everyone is staying really healthy. And here they go again, taking this high ground, picking that spam up.
He's so weak. Able to get the arrow though. A little bit of damage on both sides.
A lot of health so bad. Trip's dead.
Yeah, 1 soldier down. It's gonna be definitely rough for their spam. As Witness Gaming, they're still holding on to this after all this time. They're hitting the 20-second mark, and Witness with Mal down a soldier. A couple more seconds till they are able to get their Uber. This is not looking too good for them for this round.
Yeah, this is looking really rough for them. They are going to have Uber, but it's going to be S and even Uber trade, and they need to get cap time, keep that up, so they can't chase super hard. They go in for the force. Logai, great hold. Glimmer's going to get taken down. This is not looking too hot.
Oh, Kev though.
Oh.
The bomb and the Logai. The soldier coordination is there, able to clean up the medic, so no medic or the side of actually either team. Aizen died as well. They're able to get the cap for the side of Mal that only elongates their respawners. So the side of Witness, they can hold off as long as they want to and make sure they're able to push with 6 before Aizen is there to heal their team in its entirety. So they're going to go ahead and back up, wait for the medic to roll out. They do have Aizen rolling out with Glimmer, so they are going to have scout speed here, but with already a little bit of cap time in favor of Witness in terms of flipping this over to a 3rd round for them. It's a little bit rough for the side of Mal. They are able to be here, so it's not the biggest advantage in the world, but so much damage on the side of the Witness players over on the right-hand side of the house. Alpha able to clean up too, so no fight. Aizen dies though. The bomb from Ash, he is gone, and Glimmer very weak, has to back up as well. Just living by a thread, the side of Witness. They are going to back up though. I think Ash is probably going to get pinched and die here, kind of stuck into the house, but his last rocket cleans up Glimmer at the very end.
That's really unfortunate, and they're just going to take these heals, push forward. Look at this cap time too. They're just slowly edging out the cap. There it is.
Yeah, it's really rough because you want to own the point because of the overtime, but every time you own it, it's still a respawner, so you have to play perfectly, and that's going to be a tough road for the side of Mal. Witness Gaming, they're 3-0 right now. One more round and it's theirs, so Mal got a lot to work against right now, and like I said before, every single round matters. So even if it looks pretty rough, even collecting 1 or 2 rounds here could be monumental for them. So we'll have to see where this next mid takes us.
Yeah, will Mal do anything different? It doesn't seem like it right away. They're just kind of playing this spam.
They're slightly more aggressive, just a little bit, but not by much. But who knows? Maybe it's enough.
Oh, Glimmer. He's so low.
R's weak as well. Bombing from Laz. They're taking control of the right-hand side house and killing Kev. Trip has to bomb in and try to create some space to try to clean up as well, but gonna miss the mark, not able to quite get in the doorway. So one player disad. Mal gonna have a lot to work against here, but Artist getting on top of the point, putting a lot of damage on the other team. Alpha's gonna clean up over on the side of the right-hand house. And they're able to get someone behind as well. Glimmer though, taking care of her Artist, and no demo for the side of Witness Gaming. And Yai dying as well to a pipe from Sai, so it's gonna be rough for the side of Witness, although they do have, the scouts are not there, but Trip bombing in. Oh, Sai, he gets the, I think he got that pipe off, but Logai was already Uber, so just gonna go ahead and go for a sack play, seeing as their Uber's already been used. The Lab bombing in, killing Alpha. Aizen stuck in a little bit of a corner, and Laz, he's on a tear right now, throwing everyone back. He's still alive somehow. He will probably eventually die here, but bought a lot of time.
Oh, he got a rocket off too.
And now Aizen's just super weak. It's really rough for him to actually get to that health pack. He knows he can't, so it's going to be a bit for them to actually get forward here. But they do have no soldiers on the other team for the side of Witness, so no spam. Can get through these doorways and try to poke and prod on the point once again. Pushing forward, getting some damage on a Brand Slam. He's going to be healed up at least for now, but the cap time is starting to go in Mal's way. Artist extremely low. Last minute arrow barely keeps him alive. Glimmer as well extremely weak, but the cap will go in Mal's favor.
And Kev's dead. Immediate trade on the Yite though, so it's not the worst thing in the world. Laz taking a 1v1 dome. He got the pack and 2 arrows to keep himself alive against Alpha.
There are Ubers that are going to be in play here if teams want to use them. Laz actually going for a flank a little bit. Uber exchange going off. Ransom not connected, will actually die. Uber not used from the solid low guy, playing very passively, just letting his players die. He's saying it's fine. We'll preserve this Uber, but the bomb from Trip, damage on the low guy. He has the hop, the stick coming out, but it's not going to be enough. And low guy makes a greedy decision, but it ends up working out as Mal. They've pretty much wiped Spare, Sai, and Alpha, so actually it's technically a 2v2 at least for now. Alpha leading the charge a little bit. Sai bombing in off the distraction. Sticky's on the Logai, actually not going to quite hit the mark, and Sai is just going to die. Logai still coming off clean with that, maintaining his Uber, and that's a late demo death that's going to put even more time on the clock for the side of Witness.
And they're forward holding a little bit here too. Trip immediately dead to the sticks. They're just funneling out one by one. Alpha's dead. Kev goes down as well.
They're running forward here. They've taken the lobby pretty much. They maybe want to use this Uber into the other team's spawn where they don't expect it. 3 alive, they see them. They're getting into the spawning actually really, really aggressively. Oh, Soldier barely lived. Oh no, he does get aired by Aizen. So they are going to trade, which does favor Mal as they do respawn a little bit quicker. But they do have this Uber that they have to work against. Artist alone on his left-hand side, sticking it off the Uber. Will finally come out, chasing down, able to get tripped. Sai as well, but the rest of the team too passive for them to really get. They are showing themselves here, poking and prodding, trying to put out some damage. But Kev going for a flank will not find a whole lot of success. So Mal, I mean, technically that's a 3-man for a force, which I'm sure you'll be happy with, but you're not going to be happy with the time still clicking down in Witness Gaming's favor.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's a force coming in here too in just a second, because Laz is...
Oh, they get Ash. That's something. Sai bombing forward.
They got Ash. Laz is still behind though.
Yeah, the flank coming in. Actually able to get Trip as well, and maybe
they're going to take down the soldier too.
They've just completely dismantled the backline. No soldiers there to bomb for it, and I guess they get 2, but 2 for 2 with an Uber use is not something you want to see if you're a Mal fan. They're able to get a little bit of cap time. Witness Gaming is willing to give them that to go ahead and elongate their spawns and shorten their own, and they have their own Uber to work with. Sai getting bombed, not going to be able to surf the first rocket. Really weak, 14 HP, will just barely live. And Yai is actually going to give up his life trying to chase that down, as well as Laz. So bomb coming in on a Logai, no damage once again. Logai too slippery, and Trip not able to get off that rocket. So gonna be rough for them to work with here. They are down players, but they do have an Uber to work with. Bombing him from Kev. Oh, there's damage they need, and this sack will find success, but they're gonna have to give up 2, 3 for it. Alpha maybe escaping, depending. Just barely will find his way out. So, you know, they're able to get that force, but it took a lot of time for it to happen.
Yeah, I mean, this is honestly the best position they've been in a hot minute. Uber ad, the time isn't super crazy, but this forward aggression out of Witness Gaming and the damage they're putting out could really make this difficult. Glimmer runs out. His team's a little slow to follow behind. Here they come. Laz goes in, does get the immediate force, and Little Guy is nowhere to be seen.
Oh, Artist caught. Immediately dead in the grave. Yite trying to do a little bit of flank of his own, getting very aggressive. Gonna get 1v2 by both scouts immediately, and able to take that, getting 3 kills, but Low Guy has an uber advantage to work with of his own. And with 27 seconds left, that is a very scary situation to be in for the side of Mal. They have all their players alive. They immediately stuff Laz. That pre-bomb coming from Trip does wonders, and that actually might be enough time for them to make sure they continue to set this up properly. Oh, Kev, very greedy immediately right off the bat, able to kill the Artist, get the Artist frag right off the bat, so another thing that's going to slow them down. Can't bomb in immediately right off bat with your demo anymore. So time and time again, these plays right now, the last like minute for the side of Mal is working very heavily in their favor. Another frag as well on the side of Ash.
Yeah, now this is what Mal needs to do. Just take that pick and roll with it. But look at this cap time.
Oh, Glimmer weak. He ran across the sticky that would have killed him, but it didn't dead. Just barely lived through that, but the cap is going to go into Witness Gaming Saver. They have Last deal with who's super behind, all the way through the left-hand side.
They're like all looking at him.
He's going to eventually fight someone, but Alpha gets him with one shot, but it is even Ubers, and there's no soldier to work with for the side of Witness Gaming, or at least one soldier extra, so Mal trying to get onto this point, but they have to Uber exchange as well, so they have to be careful about the overtime, immediately stacking a lot of Captain on top of Branson, blocking it. Uber might come into equation. Branson looking like he wants to take it. He will eventually pull that trigger, going in and putting some damage on the side of both the players getting flashed for the side of Mal. Damage on the Yite, going to be difficult for him to post-fight very aggressively, able to take the pack, and so far the cap is going for the side of Mal, but they have to make sure they live through this for the spawn advantage. Immediately, Witness Gaming picking up 2. Bomb came from the red team, trying to put some damage on the wall guy to keep him dead, but they will give up too many and not able to hold on to it. So Witness Gaming, very, very clean 2-0 for this half to overall 4-0 victory.
Yeah, there was like never a moment that it felt like Mal had really any momentum, honestly. They would get, they'd get the point, they would get a kill on the low guy, but it always felt like Witness Gaming were putting eyes on them somewhere, like Laz going behind at the end there, or getting that random pick that opened it up for them. Witness Gaming were like, I feel like the perfect combination of all over the map while at the same time staying together and paying off each other really well.
Yeah, they were really throwing Mal for a loop in the very beginning, and I think Mal actually started to get some stuff down in the second half, especially the very last round is where it started to get really competitive, and you could start to see what we talked about before the game started about the way the bagel works, where it's pretty normal to have multiple rounds where, even though you win, the other team had like 30 seconds left, just what we just saw. But too little, too late. Too many rounds collected too quickly for the side of Witness Gaming, so Mal unable to really bounce back. That's going to be 4-0 sweep. It's going to be great for the side of Witness, making sure they can collect as many rounds as possible to try it, make an attempt to guarantee the first seed. We'll have to see how the rest of the matches go, obviously. And for the side of Witness, if they end up in a scenario where they're, tied for third and trying to push their way forward, or they're tied for like fourth, fifth and trying to push their way forward, well, not going to find any rounds here, have to look elsewhere. But they do have a match later this week where they can get some, maybe even a win, depending on how things go. So we'll see what transpires. I think it's going to be pretty interesting. I think it's a Witness, or not a Witness, Mal versus G6 on Thursday. So it's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, that's a really important match. Like we said earlier, these two teams are competing for that third, fourth spot. So whoever wins that, it's going to go a long way to determine that.
Yeah, and then even just rounds for, I don't think it matters as much for G6, but just rounds in general. Like if they lost to G6, performing well is going to be important to make sure that they can beat out GCI if they somehow tied due to like some upset win or upset loss that happens in the last 2 weeks of the season. But we can look at the combined logs and see what we can see. Overall, I think for the most part, you kind of expect a dominant Witness Gaming showing, considering it was a 4-0, so not really a whole lot of comparisons to really work with realistically, I don't think.
Yeah, it's a rough game when literally no one goes negative except for the medic on the other team.
Yeah, but you still see the nice deaths from the side of Azen, but I still feel like there were a lot of moments where Mal was in the thick of it and having a rough time, and Azen was able to recognize it, like, all right, we're losing this, I need to get out. But I still feel like that's a lot because a lot of these fights kind of ended before they began. I don't think the amount of fights that were just across the point where a team was actually able to fully get in and start something it happened, but it was less than expected, so. But yeah, hard to make a lot of comparisons here when it comes to comparing both the teams, but Bransem top of the charts with 24 kills in the server. It's actually Ash, surprisingly, that's topping the damage of 421. So hats off to him. It's not too often that you see a soldier not go ham, but like top the damage charts, particular on a Koth map.
Yeah, I didn't think the stats would be this, lopsided, honestly.
We do have Witness here for an interview. Hello, Witness. We've been seeing you a lot lately.
Yeah, I guess I'm the official spokesperson of Witness Gaming. Nice to meet you.
I mean, it makes sense since there's big things happening and you got a lot to talk about. So let's talk a little bit about the match. I'm sure you watch it. And any initial thoughts before about Bagel, like before the match actually transpires, like your team going into a Bagel match?
I think Bagel team's pretty confident. I think any Koth map the team's super confident on. I think we played that in that really long playoff series against Froyo last season, and I feel like I think you kind of see this how strong like the Laz and Yite kind of work like to those houses, right house especially.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think a lot of that just kind of translate well into like how we kind of approach the map, and it's just a super dominant map for the whole team.
So the match overall was pretty much a clean sweep. I know you've like kind of watched a lot of scrims in general of your team like in the past
Sure.
few weeks. Is this obviously you kind of expect your team to do well and win matches, but this was very convincing versus Mal. Is that something that you normally expect given the history of your scrims versus Mal, or were you expecting something that might have been a little bit closer?
I think the team is playing very well. Like these past 3 weeks, I think they've been playing a lot better, improving a lot. These kind of interims against Mal, I feel like the results are pretty consistent with the match. Obviously, I think the match was a lot cleaner than a few other scrim nights against this team, but the people we needed to show up came to play, and overall, I think we got a lot of strong performances out of I think I played super well tonight. I think Logai played a fantastic game as well. And we kind of need those players to show up every night, and they do.
Yep, we'll definitely lead you guys to great places. And speaking of great places, I know that this was announced like the week prior, but I'm sure maybe people might have missed it. You got some news and maybe some progress updates on the whole LAN thing for your team. I want to give some updates to people.
The whole LAN thing.
LAN.
Little LAN in Copenhagen. You might have heard it. May have not heard about it. If you missed the announcement, or if you missed me shouting loudly on Twitter, Witness Gaming will be attending Copenhagen LAN in Denmark, April 2022. We are currently running a fundraiser through Indiegogo. And through that fundraiser, if you want to interact with us, kind of give us some money and support, there's a lot of cool perks you can get. If you want to get mentored by Yite, by Laz, by Artist, by Logai for a session, we can do that for you. If you want them to sign something of yours, that whole group is more than happy to do that for you. We have perks for that. If you want to win an unusual, we got that. There's a lot of perks all going into this, and there's a lot of hopes and dreams riding on it. If you can't give us money, or if you can't support with funds, best thing you can do for us is just spread the word, tell your friends, post it on Twitter, get a discussion going within your circles. The best thing we can do is just raise awareness and let everyone know what we're trying to do. This will be the first international LAN in 2 years. Not even like yesterday we passed $2,000 in 6 days, which is just like,
that's sick.
It's just so incredible. I actually like almost kind of teared up about it. It's just the support from the community has been really overwhelming the past couple days, and it's just really like amazing, to feel that love, and that support. But yeah, I mean, it's just like the kind of thing where we're really trying to get this done, and we have a lot of cool milestones going along with that. I actually passed up a few of those with the $2,000. So we actually have young Sanity playing in a scrim. I think we're trying to get that going this next Monday or Sunday. And he'll be replacing Ash for a night of scrims, and Ash will be streaming his POV and giving him feedback and kind of live mentoring him during the scrim, and it'll just be a good fun time. We're also looking to do a Witness Gaming show match with Witness Gaming EU facing off against Witness Gaming NA. We're looking to get that going on November 7th, around 3 o'clock Eastern. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to do one map with NA teams, one map with like EU, and then we're going to do a third map where we kind of treat it like Dota Fortress, where we kind of mix up all the teams together and they'll face off on like a third map, kind of like a pug, just to kind of mess around. Because it's very rare, you get to see like Laz play with Yeehaw, or Mac play with like Carter, or just kind of things like that. So it'll be fun. I think our next milestone is the team MGE at 2,500. That's just going to be like a MGE bracket to see who's the best MGE player on the roster.
Yeah, that should be interesting.
And that'll just be kind of casted in-house. So that'll be really fun. Again, if you guys want to donate, the Indiegogo is free. I'm trying to get it everywhere so everyone sees as much as possible. It's right there. Dolphin put it in chat. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. My email's on there. Send me a Discord message. Add me on Steam. If you have any questions or concerns, or just want to say like thank you, or just want to talk about the LAN, I'm super open to that, and I really appreciate everyone reaching out to me with all the support.
For sure. All right, well, Uni, do you have any questions, or are we going over to the shadow phase?
I think we're good for the shoutouts.
All right, Witness, got any? You shout out a lot, but you have any last minute shoutouts before we end the stream?
Shout out my mom. That's a pretty big one. Usual shout outs. Jay, best friend. He's been really supportive, helping me be really confident in me doing this. Everyone on the Witness Gaming roster now, they've been really, really nice, helping me get all these things done, and they've been a really good group of friends I've had the past year. They're all really cool. Shout out production. You guys are great. I haven't seen Unicorn Wizard cast on an RGL stream in a while, so that was a nice treat. Nice to see you, buddy. Jarrett, you kill it as always. Dolphin, you rock the camera. You guys are great. That's all I got.
Anything from you, Uni?
Say shout out to Witness, man. You've been around for a while, just helping this scene, building it up. Even before Witness Gaming, I could see you putting in that work. So shout out to you, man. I'm really happy that I'm seeing you, have this success.
Definitely shout out to all the people watching and hanging out for us, and everyone who's going to watch the future matches as well. I think the next match that we're casting is on Thursday. It'll be Mal versus G6, not GCI or anything like that. We're not one of the global clans. So that's going to be interesting to see. Fight between currently the seeded third and fourth teams, and who knows, maybe depending on what will happen, they could swap. So definitely don't want to miss it. I think there's some other matches that are scattered. I think there's some of the global clan teams that are fighting on Wednesday as well that you might want to catch as well, although we won't be covering it, but it is happening, so you might want to keep an eye out. But that's going to be it for tonight, at least. I've been Jarrett, casting with Uni, with Dolphin on production. Thank you, and good night.